Main events had 4 solid weeks of storyline, so I guess it's time for a What Happened on My Universe mode pay-per-view special! It's Bad Blood, and we were in Seattle, Washington. We began with a 4-way between the 4 WCW DLC wrestlers that are on NXT at the moment, with the winner going on to become a member of the main event roster. So who would it be? Bam Bam Bigelow, Lex Luger, Fit Finlay, or Diamond Dallas Page? Now whichever one of these guys it was going to be, they were going to have to earn it. This match was chaos. Wherever you go, there was action. The ante was turned up a notch when Bam Bam Bigelow brought some steps into the ring and then suplexed Finlay onto them, but it didn't faze them. And then this crazy move happened. What the fuck was that? It was crazy. That's what it was. As the match rolled on, Luger managed to wriggle out of some moves to hit his running forearm. Still got that metal plate in his arm. He tried to make Finlay tap with the torture rack, but it didn't work. When Luger couldn't keep DDP down for the free count, he went to a much darker place, ramming his head into the steel steps, the upside down steel steps. This was enough to take the win, and enough to make him on the main event roster. Match number 2 was for the World Tag Team titles, as Sting and the Ultimate Warrior defended their championships against Rey Mysterio and Rob Van Dam.
What a reversal from Sting. Referred to as
Sting and the Ultimate Warrior normally have matches to themselves, not letting the opposition get many moves. This was not the case today, as Rey Mysterio and Rob Van Dam aren't jobbers. And although Rey Mysterio isn't a jobber, he still took a bit of a beating at the start. Once the Ultimate Warrior had managed to hit this awesome German suplex, Rey Mysterio gained a bit of advantage and managed to get a slightly hot tag. Not a fully hot tag, that would get a cutscene. Rob Van Dam came in like a house of fire until he was extinguished by the Blade Runners.
well, that's it. He's done.
Sting and Rob Van Dam would trade moves here and there, and it wasn't until Rey Mysterio would get back in the ring that the match would end, when Sting hit the Tombstone for the victory.
That's it. The match is over. And still, World Tag Team.
So the tag team titles were successfully defended, and we had a mini feud to sort next, as Mr. Perfect took on Ric Flair in a steel cage match.
What a shot.
We had a hard-hitting wrestling match here, and while the cage didn't get involved too often, it was still quite painful looking at times. As Ric Flair took the match to Mr. Perfect, it looked like a win, especially after the low blow, and as he tried to escape the cage, Perfect dragged him down and said, "No, no, no." The match continued to swing in Ric Flair's favour, Perfect only hitting a move every now and then. Even the glitches were against Mr. Perfect. It got to the point where Mr. Perfect had to pull out a move out of his son's playbook in order to get enough time to climb over the cage, as Ric Flair looked on angry. So a victory for Mr. Perfect to end this mini feud. It was time to find out who Triple H's mystery opponent would be. It was John Cena, coming to hog the spotlight again. But to be fair, they were feuding a little bit when main event first started. Of course, this doesn't explain why John Cena's on main event in general. He's on the Raw roster. Thankfully, Triple H started giving him the Brock Lesnar treatment, i.e. smashing him. As the match continued, John Cena would eventually gain the upper hand, hitting a 5-knuckle shuffle. It wasn't long before Triple H was back in the driver's seat, hitting spinebusters and elbow drops. But when John Cena reversed it all, he hit the AA. 1, 2. Triple H kicks out. Goes for the pedigree, hits it, retains, and makes sure John Cena doesn't win the title on the wrong brand. Raven took on Kevin Nash next for the European title in this tale of one-upmanship. Previously, Raven had beaten him in a hardcore rules match. Kevin Nash had beat him in a normal match. They'd both beat Paul Orndorff, but Kevin Nash was more surprised when Raven managed to beat Paul Orndorff in a wrestling match.
Watch it. Good night. Fantastic extent. We could be heading back into the ring. Elbow. Oh, man.
Raven was not going to let up in this match, mainly because I wanted to unlock the NXT title, and I'd do that if I won it with Raven. Might be a bit of a spoiler there for you, but if it makes it up for you, here's Raven reliving his youth as Scotty Flamingo as he dives over the top rope. Kevin Nash thought he had Raven when he hit him with his own DDT, but instead of retaliating with another DDT, he would hit a giant swing! And that would be enough to keep Kevin Nash down for the 3 count. Raven is your new European champion, and I've unlocked the NXT title. Yay! This week on Main Event, Shawn Michaels had pile-driven Batista through the announce desk in retaliation for the previous week when Batista powerbombed him through the announce desk. So it was only fitting that they faced off in an Extreme Rules match in the penultimate match of the evening.
What a neck breaker. Oh, HBK hit. I think that cracked the ring post forearm.
This Extreme Rules match was only about 50% extreme. Most of it was brawling on the outside, and vicious brawling it was too. Batista hit a spinebuster on the outside. However, Shawn Michaels managed to get back from this and hit a few more moves. This in turn pissed Batista off, and he would spear him through the guardrail. Batista threw Shawn Michaels back in the ring and set a table up in the corner. As he tried to spear him through that, it backfired, and Shawn Michaels went for Sweet Chin Music. That backfired as well. Another spinebuster. This gave Batista the chance to hit the Batista bomb, but once it landed, he was too knackered to go for the pin. Shawn Michaels was up first and went for the DDT. Batista reversed it and hit the Batista bomb again. This time, getting the chance to pin and reigning victorious.
Here is your winner.
And now, the main event, Stone Cold Steve Austin taking on CM Punk for the 5th and final time in this feud anyway. So this begs the question, could CM Punk finally beat Stone Cold Steve Austin in the main event of the main event pay-per-view? Well, not if Stone Cold Steve Austin could help it. He was just pounding the shit out of CM Punk most of the match.
Sidesteps that one. Oh, what's CM Punk gonna do with this?
As we reached the middle of the match, it began to open up. CM Punk hitting an awesome moonsault, but it would soon go back to Stone Cold as he hit a Lou Thesz press. The match headed to the outside, and it looked like Stone Cold would keep the advantage, but a reversal, and CM Punk was on all-out attack. Once we were back in the ring, Stone Cold may have hit a suplex, but then it was all CM Punk again. He hit his signature, but then he wanted revenge for main event last week, so instead of hitting the go to sleep, he hit a Stone Cold Stunner and finally pinned Stone Cold for the 1-2-3. That was Bad Blood. I hope you enjoyed it. Join us next time on What Happened on My Universe Mode.